Alright guys, so a little technical issue. This was going to be in Ben's Exo video, so count this as part 2 of that video. I accidentally left my camera, and...
No correlation, just...
No correlation, just it's part 2.
It's a small deck, it's not as...
It's just the main deck, as most GOAT decks are,
There's
just a main
no
deck.
extra deck for it.
This is Panda Burn. It gets its name because it's Yaku Gaia Panda, and Panda go big and he go burr. Anyway, let's start this deck. I got off our buddy Anthony. Thank you. And this is subject to change. I'm gonna have to talk with him a little bit about it and work more solid plays through. But let's start. We got Yaku Gaia Panda. This card's really good because it gains 500 attack for each monster on your opponent's field, and it does piercing.
And in tandem with the card later, you can see why this thing can get pretty big pretty quick.
You can see why I beat Ben's very, very heavy rock deck with this deck. Another card that's a really good damage guy is Death Koala. He may not seem like much in attack, but his defense is where he's really at. Because the level 3 that has 1800 defense, kind of beefy.
Plus the burn.
And the 400 for each card in your opponent's hand is pretty good too. Lava Golem, just to get rid of those pesky monsters. Like Mega Rock Dragon. Another GOAT staple, Breaker. I mean, I hardly know any decks that don't play Breaker in GOAT.
Mine, but that's specifically because most cards in my deck are just pure rock.
Like I said, I barely know any decks in GOAT. Cyberjar. I know a lot of decks don't play Cyberjar, but decks like mine
does.
Ben's.
Because that thing is a rock.
And destroying all face-up monsters on the field, or all monsters on the field, and then revealing 5s. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Kinetic Soldier. Again, it's kind of a injection fairy lady. What card are you pulling up? No, that's my only one. I know why you want it. That's why I'm keeping it.
I've wanted it for a while. That's all I'm saying.
Kinetic Soldier's just like Fairy Lily. During damage calc, this card battles a warrior type monster. Gets 2000, and it's already at 1350, so it can actually get over that pesky Fairy Lily. Morphin Jar. Ben, I'll let him tell him why Morphin Jar is a good card.
It's a rock, and it just says draw 5, basically.
Yeah. Discard the entire hand and just draw 5.
Yeah.
Exile. Again, monster. Again, board right, pesky monsters. Stealth Bird is a staple of this deck, kinda, because when it's flipped, you burn a K for damage, and then you can flip it face down.
It's like, what his does is like mine, it's Medusa Worm. Mine destroys monsters, his just burns.
So that's it for monsters. Powder Greed, GOAT staple. Not much to say to that. Heavy Storm, again, not much to say.
I know we were joking, but literally what deck wouldn't run Pot and Graceful? I don't think there's a deck out there that doesn't run those.
All of a sudden finds a deck that doesn't run Pot. What?
Excuse me?
Pre-mat, again, I don't know hardly any decks that don't run pre-mat.
Mine, but I probably should. I don't know.
Level Area, again, conjunction with Panda to kind of do that piercing. Swords, stall, whatever have you. This card's really good in this deck. Chain Energy. Each player must pay 500 life
or to play any card.
From hand. From hand, and I say hand because most people think that you have to pay 500 to activate a set card. No, you don't. Giant Trunade. Again, just return cards to hand.
It's a good, like, if you know you're close to winning kind of card.
Another card to go in conjunction with Panda. Book of Moon. Realize this is one of my only decks that doesn't run that. Just weird. Going into traps, we got Gravity Bind. Kind of a more.
You don't
better.
really want to. You're not really trying to attack.
You're trying to burn. That's the reason why it's called Panda Burn.
Trying to survive and burn.
Again, Ring of Destruction. I do have a couple cards in mind for this deck, and it's Barrel Behind the Door.
Yep.
Nightmare Reel. Again, you're not really trying to attack. You're trying to whittle down your opponent.
Anyone that doesn't know what that does, it stops an opponent. They cannot attack, and they take 500 during each of their
or change. Nope. So opponent's plastic cannot attack or change its battle position when it leaves the field. Destroy this card. Pretty standard.
Yep.
During each of your standby phases, inflict 500 to your opponent. That monster must be on the field to activate and resolve this effect. Another card I love, Magic Cylinder. Funny story with this card that I might say at a later point, but it involves 2 5-headed dragons. Ben knows the story.
I forgot about that.
Again, another card to go with this deck, Secret Barrel. This card's really good.
200 for each card they control?
Each card in the hand and each card on the side of the field. Judgment. I don't need to say much about Judgment other than, like Ben said earlier, saying no to cards is just great.
Especially in earlier Yu-Gi-Oh!
Just Desserts, because burning for 500 for each monster their opponent on the field. Pretty
Plus
good.
in tandem with, I think the next card, yeah.
And the last card Ben was talking about, Ojama Trio. Summon 3 Ojama tokens to your opponent's side of the field. They cannot be tributed. And when they're destroyed, your opponent takes 300 points of damage. And you guys saw that well in effect in my duel against Ben. With that being said, this is Panda Burn. Again, any suggestions are welcome to this duel, or deck, I should say. Sorry, it's been a long day. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video, which should be in a couple minutes. Bye-bye.